The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour.
ChatGPT did become the world's most downloaded non-gaming app.
Literally the job of everyone in government to address the media and the public.
What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on Zandy Silva as the deputy PLP leader?
A community that can't feed itself is a community that's doomed.
What you may not know, though, is that Bermuda, we have a connection with Epstein, too.
Things that people are doing right, the youth are doing right, that is not being advertised enough.
When you see your access to U.S. dollars disappear, that's when you have a problem.
If you've got a town in the UK with a similar sized population, this place absolutely outshines it.
It's Friday, the 23rd day of January 2026, and welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we're able to pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and Thaao Dill will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break, brought to you by People's. Folks, don't forget the 2026 Bermuda Idol Finals will be held in March again this year. The winner will receive a beautiful trophy and $5,000. There'll be over $10,000 awarded in additional prizes to various contestants that make the finals. So be sure to audition this Saturday at Hot 1075 anytime between 1 and 3 p.m. Folks, bring your best voice and song choice, and 2026 could be your year. So why not audition this Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. opening during the open auditions at Hot 1075. One key point, you must be Bermudian or married to a Bermudian. All right, folks, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We're going to be welcoming the program director of adult education, who is also our news correspondent, Thaao Dill, on. He's going to be discussing their financial literacy course that they have coming up. The daily play is going to be things you should know. And also, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks, let's jump right into the conversation today. Question is, what are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? What are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? What are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? And also, do you trust the government to fix the school system? Well, what is Jamal talking about as usual? All righty, audience. Before we discuss where public education should go next, it's important to understand how we got here. Since 2017, when Diallo Rabane was appointed Minister of Education, Bermuda has been on a long and complex journey of education reform. The goal was ambitious: improve outcomes, modernize the system, and move from a 3-tier model to a 2-tier system built around parish primary schools and signature senior schools. To help drive that change, the government hired an outside consultancy, Innovation Unit, to advise on system design, leadership, and engagement. That partnership lasted several years and cost millions, all in the name of getting reform right. But reform wasn't just happening in boardrooms. When plans were announced to close West End Primary School, parents and community members organized as the West End Warriors, challenging the process, the scoring system, and what they felt was a lack of transparency and respect for history. Their advocacy ultimately led to a reversal, and West End Primary remains open today. Along the way, teachers raised alarms about staffing shortages, burnout, and schools operating at their breaking point. Leadership changed, consultants exited, and by 2025 and into 2026, reports began surfacing of confusion, shifting plans, and unclear communication about what reform actually looks like now. So today's conversation isn't about whether reform was needed. Most people agree it was. The real questions are, was it executed well? Were communities brought along early enough? And after 9 years, are we clearer or more confused than when we started? This isn't about personalities. It's about accountability, transparency, and the future of our children. It's a mess. I've been up since some crazy hours this morning trying to put together a timeline of events for everyone to kind of understand where we are. This is a conversation. You know, I saw a comment last night that was shared on the Royal Gazette, and it made a lot of sense. And a lot of us need to look in the mirror. Some of my friends and family, I'm talking to you as well, publicly. The way you would march for an airport, as the person said, and you would down tools and shut things down for an airport that many of you fly out of and utilize without a second thought today. But your children? Well, I knew you all didn't care about your children. Oh, I said that. Yeah, I said that. When you couldn't even care about how Black men disproportionately were treated in a government institution. Yes, I'm always going to bring that back. This is on the general public. You know, people keep saying, when is the penny going to drop? When are people going to? Well, I'll tell you what, if there was a people's campaign, they would be all over this. So let's go through the timeline of, I've put together a couple of different timelines for you, right? So let's start with the PLP wins the election in July 2017. Ella Rabin is appointed at that time Minister of Education and Workforce Development. He eventually would go on to become one of the longest serving education ministers in Bermuda's history. And he led the PLP's education transformation agenda. In 2017, the PLP's 2017 platform committed to a major overhaul of public schools, including phasing out middle schools and introducing senior schools at the senior level. So it was part of their manifesto. 2020, the official launch of Reform Vision. It was embraced, the strategic plan 2022, to shift from the three-tier system, which was primary, middle, and senior, to a two-tier system, primary and signature senior schools. 2022, reform work begins in earnest, right? Now, there's a couple things. When Innovation Unit came a part of this in 2021, around that time. But in 2022, there was a public rollout and controversy. That the first parish primary schools opened in 2022, beginning the structural shift. Well, the West End Warriors were born, and a community group they opposed the closure of West End Primary School, which they considered a historic Black institution, right? And they began to form and begin vocal protests. 2023, the West End Warriors campaign intensified. Parents, PTAs protested proposed closures and questioned transparency in deciding which schools would serve as parish primaries. The government agreed to rescore criteria and introduce a history and legacy component in the evaluation. Okay, let's skip to also in 2022, the new signature schools opened, which the Berkeley Institute and Cedar Bridge Academy opened as the first two signature schools. And the parish primaries in 2023, Francis Patton and Purvis begin operation as the first parish primary schools extended to include years 1 through 8. Government also announced the closure of existing schools such as Clearwater and Heron Bay to rationalize facilities and align with system changes. Also in 2023, the minister at the time, Diallo Rabane, updates Parliament on progress toward a two-tier system, continued parish primary development, and coordination with innovation unit consultants. 2024 budget support for reform. The 2024 budget committed millions to expanding parish primary schools and signature schools, including upgrades and new construction to support the transition. As 2024 also, and I could give you the months, but I'm trying to go through this fast. As more parish primary schools are introduced, students transition into expanded year 8 placements, and further signature offerings roll out. In late 2024, the Teachers Union tensions, the BUT, criticizes systemic issues in the public school system, calling it unbearable and entirely unacceptable due to staffing shortages, safety scheduling, and operational concerns. Union claims teachers have been sanctioned for advocating on behalf of students, further highlighting strained relations. In November 2024, government leadership continues pushing a 3 to 2 year system plan, 25 to 28 phase, focusing on phased parish primaries expansion and signature school rollouts. BUT and the opposition raised transparency and leadership concerns around school preparedness and implementation. Leadership change. There was an election in February 2025, and Diallo Rabane, the minister who held the education portfolio in a cabinet reshuffle, left for the Ministry of Cabinet Office and Digital Innovation and was replaced by the ousted as an MP, and now Senator Crystal Caesar is appointed as the Minister of Education. In September 25, new parish schools, Harrington Sound and Elliott Primary, open, and the third signature school opens at the Sand site. Certain school closures are deferred amid infrastructure planning as parents and staff express concerns about clarity and timing. January 2026, under Minister Crystal Caesar, reports surface of confusion and mixed messaging about the reform's direction, with some stakeholders hearing that middle schools will continue in name or that schedules and closures are being rethought. Parents describe meetings as chaotic, with unclear communication about where the children will be placed and how changes will proceed. BUT has repeatedly raised concerns about staffing and substitute shortages, safety and health issues, contract delays, burnout, calls for leadership assessment and better engagement. Critics, including shadow ministers and commentators, say the reform has suffered from confusion, lack of transparency, unclear timelines, and challenges in realizing promised outcomes. Rabane's tenure was marked by consistent reform thrust. His departure in 2025 signaled a transition in leadership and some strategic rethinking under Minister Caesar. That was a lot, folks. That was a lot. This is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. But what are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? And do you trust the government to fix the school system? What are your thoughts? We've got Tanya Cheeseman says, I've always said that education should not be a ministry within the government framework. Children need stability, and there's no stability in this process. There's too much unclarity. Do you trust government to fix the school system? Shelley Todd says no. What are your thoughts on this whole fiasco, though, audience? What are your thoughts on this whole fiasco? This is crazy. This is a crazy situation. It's insanity. There are numerous people who have written a number of things on this topic. And I don't say this to be funny, but the former Minister of Education, Diallo Rabane, must be relieved knowing that he no longer has to deal with it. You know, David Dodwell was defeated by Zane De Silva back in the 2007 election. And then after the 2012 election, the Minister of Tourism and the OBA government appointed him as the chairman of the Bermuda Tourism Authority. I have the same problem that I have with David Dodwell being made the chairman of the BTA, as the people rejected him in 2007, as I do with Crystal Caesar being the Minister of Education after the people rejected her in the February 2025 election. This is not personal. But if people vote you out, then in my opinion, you should not be given the honor of serving them in a capacity like a ministry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't know Miss Caesar personally. I've never met her. I don't even think I've been in the same space as her. So this is not personal. She took on a tough job. But as I was speaking to someone early this morning, I said, I don't get it. I've always had jobs where you could measure my impact, whether that's good or bad. This situation with the ministry, we know how much money has been spent on consultants. I would hate to believe what we see, what we feel, what we read, and what we believe we know are the results of the millions that have been spent. Because if this or these are the results, then heads need to roll. I don't want to see people out of work. I don't want to see people go without. But in what world is it okay for constant, consistent failure? And we're failing young people, innocent children. Let's go to the audience. Audience, what are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? And do you trust the government to fix the school system? We've got Traveling Trotty says, if funding was allocated for building construction at the schools, why did that not happen? Yeah. Where did the money go? Hadley and Stevenson Swan says, I don't know. But what I do know is that I love the Daily Hour badly. Sorry, but actually, I'm not sorry. we love you back. Suzanne Ingham says, no, government needs to fix themselves before they can fix education or anything else. Just my opinion. Okay. Kathy Rogers, I'm going to read it from the side. It's long. Says, no, I don't trust government to fix the school system. Considering the budget the education system receives, you would think they would have got it right by now. No accountability. All these years in the school system is no better off. Our children deserve a better education system. We are failing our children and our teachers. Our government failed us again. Audience, talk to me. How do we fix this? How do we fix this? The people of Bermuda need to be demanding answers right now. And you, even if you don't have children in the public school system, you are impacted. Don't think because you either don't have children or your children are grown or you don't have children, you have children in private schools or boarding schools. Do not think this doesn't impact you, because the children today become adults tomorrow. These are the people who will be taking care of you, who will be servicing you, who will be responsible for the country in which you love. If they don't have the foundations of knowing how to read and write and solve problems, Man, it's going to be a scary Bermuda. It's going to be a scary Bermuda. This is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Traveling Charlie asks a very important question. Is there a status update on the Education Authority? Here's my thing. Haven't seen the Bermuda Tourism Authority. I don't think authorities necessarily solve problems, but I think, and they didn't remove government. Again, the first thing the OBA did was appoint a failed politician as the chairperson of the BTA. So I get the point of removing the politicians from education. You know, but again, I think I agree with Lou Matthews. I think it was Dr. Lou Matthews. Education Authority doesn't really change anything if similar people are appointed, right? But we have to do things not just differently, but better. And there have been so many people I've spoken to in the education space over the years who, in my opinion, have had great solutions. Lou Matthews on Instagram, exactly. He says, Education Authority is not the answer. Yes, he said that before, and I agree with him. An authority, I'm going to tell you, because I think that's been the OBA's response for years. Your BTA thing failed. No matter how you want to spin it or shape it, right? No matter how you want to spin it, the BTA was not a success. That was not a successful authority. And I know you're going to say, well, it wasn't to the PLP talk about it. Was not. You all just know how to sell things a bit better than the PLP did. What else, audience? Ms. Ellen Kate Horton, who is a former permanent secretary of education, says the former minister who was allowed to stay for so long is responsible for the mess. Unfortunately, now for the first time in our history, there are more children in private schools than in public. This is a travesty. Well, Sir John Swan told us this 2 years ago. This is where we were heading. I would like to know where else in the world do we have more children in private schools than public? And let me be clear. It's not rich people that have their children in private schools. There are struggling parents who just want better. You know, someone said to me last night, they said, you know, the premier never speaks up really about the murders or the violence or the havoc on our roads. But he also never ever speaks publicly about the state of education. No, I think there's a pro and a con to that. The pro is one thing you've never heard me say about the Premier David Byrd is that he doesn't work hard. He is a tireless worker. And if you are on his team, he trusts and expects that you're going to work and solve problems. So in my opinion, it's probably him trying not to micromanage and allow people to do their jobs. That's just my opinion, right? However, I also feel like the con is this political strategy so that he's not tied to it, right? Like his advisors say, no, you don't take that on, leave it to your ministers. Sir, no matter what your PR team tells you, buck stops with you. I'm sure the audience would definitely agree with that. It stops with you. You are the leader of the cabinet. What are your thoughts on the public school situation in Bermuda? And do you trust the government to fix the school system? Shamari Sky says we have to understand that a failing school system has real life and death consequences. Until we are all invested in one system, rich, poor, black, white, nothing will change. I agree. I completely agree. We've got Lou Matthews over on Instagram. He says, do you hear educators speaking publicly about education? There's an intentional silence. Got to get Lou back on. Man, Dr. Lou Matthews and I sat down, I believe it was 2020. This conversation. A lot of people don't remember. Back in 2007. No, sorry, not 2007. 2009. Man, the Honorable Nelson Bascom passed and his seat was up for election. And it came down to Michael Weeks and Dr. Lou Matthews. Lou was talking about this stuff back then. We're losing some people. Dr. Lou's not in Bermuda anymore. And there are many others who could have made a difference or brought about that change who have left Bermuda. Will we be in a better state with people if we valued them? I don't know. But I doubt we could be any worse off. Traveling Charlie says, as of September, more than 50% of our school-age children are in private institutions, and many of the private schools have waiting lists. That is insane. Kathy Rogers says it's already a scary Bermuda indeed. Michael Daniel says the lack of unity in a society is most obvious in certain areas, and education is one of those areas. Ms. Ellen Kate Horton says she will be hard-pressed to name the educators who have been involved in education reform who made all the decisions. Interesting. Alison Russell said, I messaged the premier last night that our children are not guinea pigs. Unfortunately, I got his auto reply again. He's off island. I just want to say to you all as we wrap this up, the only way to hold a government accountable in Bermuda in my lifetime is through pressure groups. Pressure groups and strong oppositions. I'm going to say this, and some people may not like it. People ask me, well, why won't people vote the PLP out? They know this is not how we should be, this, that, and the other. The truth is, people don't feel they have another option. As it relates to politics, One Bermuda Alliance was given a shot, very marginal shot in 2012. Now, some people could say it was great opposition by the Honorable Mark Bean and Premier David Burke. But others can say it was arrogance, a lack of understanding, a refusal to engage and meet people where they are. However, the case, people just don't trust the One Bermuda Alliance. Give you an example. The Honorable former Premier Ewart Brown said on this show within the last 2 years that he lives thousands of miles or feet above ground, meaning he travels a lot. And people were up in arms, hey, you got our money, you took our money. Yet, former Premier Honorable Michael Dunkley, out playing golf and enjoying some resorts that most Bermudians will never afford to be on. Right? And nothing. There's no controversy about stealing money or anything. Some will say, well, Michael Dunkley is a respected businessman, has Dunkley staring. Dr. Ewart Brown, a doctor with businesses, doctors' business offices, medical offices, but doesn't get the same respect. What I'm saying, I'm not here to defend Dr. Brown. I trust me, I'm not here to do that. And I'm not here to demonize Michael Dunkley. I'm showing you why we accept what we do, why we don't fight. The reason we accept what we do from the Bermuda Progressive Labor Party is because the OBA scares the living daylights out of people. No matter how many black people you put in place, how many black faces. And that's why I believe that pressure groups are necessary to hold the government accountable. The West End Warriors were truly necessary, and they showed you what can happen when you do what you do. Let's go back so you understand what I mean by pressure groups. Stuart Haywood's led BEST was a pressure group. The unions back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, those were pressure groups. Like them or not, the People's Campaign was a pressure group. Out Bermuda is a pressure group. There are a number of pressure groups, but right now, there's no pressure groups. A lot of people like to say the PLP was a phenomenal opposition. The PLP had pressure groups. And it's easy to say, well, where are the unions? Where's the People's Campaign? No, they serve their purpose to get for themselves, right? Where are the other pressure groups? Bermuda Union of Teachers needs your support. If you care about the children and the future and state of Bermuda, it's time to get up. Pressure groups are needed, folks. Let's go through these final few comments, and then we'll bring Thaao Dill in for your Daily Hour news break. Allison Russell says the opposition is far too weak. Goes on to say, in the backbench, silent, not like the years when the PLP was the opposition. We've got Yikes says, Trevin Trotty, what a travesty. Dorian says the Ministry of Education has a conflict of interest. Minister of Education has a conflict of interest as she is a director of private school BCCL, yet responsible for making public education better. Well, I don't know that for sure, but that's apparently, according to Dorian, that is, yeah. All right, folks. Let's bring show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Then we'll bring Thaao Dill for your Daily Hour news break. Do us a favor, though. You have to have these conversations. Take them from this show to your friends, your family, your colleagues. You have to continue the conversation. You have to make sure that wherever you go, while you're on social media, you're sharing these conversations, that you don't allow them to be buried. This is current state, and the future of Bermuda is on all of us, really. Seriously.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Titan Express delivers safe, professional, and reliable transportation and tours across the island. From island tours to cultural experiences, they set the standard. And Secure is your go-to for property management, waste management, and residential and commercial services. Visit securebda.com. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is their commitment to you.
Alrighty, let me just go through. We got quite a lot of comments on Instagram, so I'm just going to go through them. We've got Mia Chambray says, I'm one of the struggling parents, child in private school. Says we need Dr. Matthews back on the show and in charge, in my opinion. BDA JLM, I think, says educators can't speak because they literally have a gag order imposed on them in the Bermuda legal system. We've got Lee Matthews says Dr. Freddie Evans firing and undermining Bermudian educators is strategic. We've got every Bermudian has children in school here in Bermuda, should be rising up to fight for our children no matter where they go to school, says Mia Chambray. Dr. Freddie Evans says absolutely, Lou. Look, Dr. Lou Matthews goes on to say any system that has to operate crisis for so long is in a state of trauma paralyzed. Look, we have a lot of educators who are friends of this show. And hopefully we'll have some of them on to discuss this very soon. But this is crazy. This is crazy. Let's bring Thaao Dill for your Daily Hour news break. And Thaao is the guest today as well. We'll be talking about financial literacy that adult education's putting on.
Good morning. I'm Thaao Dill. Welcome to your TDH News Break, brought to you by the great folks at Peoples. We've always been more than just a pharmacy. We're your partner in living well. Something new is taking root. Hey, Jay, morning. Mm-hmm. This is weird. I got to do the news and I got to do the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't, work this out. Like, we didn't script this. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So thank you.
Before you get to the news.
Mm-hmm.
About education.
Oh, I lost you for a second, man. What was the last sentence you said?
No, I was saying, I before we got into the news, I know you have a lot of thoughts on education. Did you want to share something with the people?
Well, okay. Okay. This, I believe, is the fundamental problem with public education. Now, the consequences of it were brought up earlier by, and I don't know if folks really understand how insane this is. The typical ratio of public to private school attendance throughout the developed world is like 85-80% public, 15-20% private. Like, this is just how it is, right? In the higher end spaces, it's maybe like 30-70, 35-65, like that kind of thing. In Bermuda, it's been a coin flip, 50-50 for generations now. Well, let me not say that, a generation at least. That is horrifying. It's obscene. And I am only smiling to keep myself from screaming or crying. Like, that is just wrong. That folks would have to basically buy a car every year with the money they choose to spend on their children's education. But the root of the problem is, and you know, folks get annoyed with me when I say this, but I genuinely believe it. This is often in true, authentic good faith. It is entirely our fault. We did this.
I agree.
And you know when we did it, when we really hypercharged it, when the mega schools and middle schools were introduced, and the educated middle class evacuated the public school system, just left en masse, right? Which is to say, the most engaged, capable, successful families and children were taken out voluntarily because, understandably, they weren't sure about what was coming next as we transitioned to that system, just as you and I were leaving high school. Like your last year was at Cedar Bridge, right?
I did 1 year at Cedar Bridge, yeah.
Yeah, in the first year, like you were part of that group. And when that happened, that meant the highest performing students and the highest performing families were taken out of the public school universe, which necessarily degraded overall results and outcomes, which then justified to the next group, well, look at the scores, look at the graduation rates. I can't put my kid in there. And then they don't put their kid in. And it just loops endlessly. So now the only people that are in the public system are those who can't afford to get out, or those who don't really care one way or the other about the way that, and that means that it's going to keep being bad, right? Like a public system of any kind, the only way for it to function at the highest possible level, it's got to be representative of the community that it serves. We've got to all participate too, right? But we evacuated the space, and now we're complaining about what the building burning to the ground. Like, if we just stuck around and grabbed the fire extinguishers, it wouldn't happen in the first place.
So it's like we ran from our problems rather than trying to fix it. So it's like, here we are, we're paying for something, yet we're allowing it to be run any way we want because we believe that it won't impact us, or it doesn't impact us, or I'm not connected to it, but you're paying for it. And as I said earlier, public education impacts every last one of us.
Public school teachers, they are doctors, right? Just by any other name. They make it more likely that our kids are going to grow to be healthy, safe, productive, successful members of the community, right? But we have not treated them that way for since about 30 years. Yeah. Right. And this is what it looks like. We did this. This is our fault. I promise you. And I mentioned this in the group yesterday. It's getting scarier, right? Like there's a video of some U.S. congressional testimony where a leading neuropsychologist was speaking about the education of Gen Z, if not Gen Alpha. That is the kids born in 2010. This is the first generation of human beings on record that are have experienced cognitive decline. And this is me putting it in a clumsy way. For recorded history, every single generation that followed one another basically got better at thinking, got better at thinking and learning, being smarter. This generation's the first in history to come out with cognitive decline. They're not as good at learning. They're not as good at thinking. And this is not a biological thing, right? Like nothing moves that fast. This is the world around us has changed, and we don't know how to deal with it. And this is just all a product of that. And It's terrifying. I'm sorry. Ugh.
But you know,
I don't want to be profane.
But here's the thing, Thaao.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to remove government and people within government from blame. But what I think you're doing is reminding us that all of us need to actually take a look in the mirror, because we are not without responsibility in what has been created, the mess that it is. And I'm glad that you took that stance, because every conversation on this show, I always speak about us and we and within, right? And I'm not saying that the minister, again, I've never met her, but this does look bad on her, right? It does. But who's to say, and I don't know this truth, Thaao, but who's to say she got this ministry after being voted out? She got this ministry because the premier said, you know what? I think she's got the personality to take this on and fix it. And who's to say one of her first things was going to be like, you know what? The people are unhappy with innovation unit. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of them. People pleasing, right? I'm speculating.
Yeah, I'm tracking. I understand.
Who's to say she didn't do that and say, you know what? We're going to try to fix this with Bermudians. And the results of that is now where we are today. It's a hypothetical, but I'm simply saying, folks, I know people are concerned about the amount of money that goes outside of Bermuda to non-Bermudians and the like. I get it. I wholeheartedly get why people want DEI and to see more people who look like them in positions. The danger in this is that sometimes we do ourselves a disservice when we focus on the wrong things. I say it all the time.
No, I'm with you. I understand
exactly.
While
I understand the history of white men in particular being in a lot of leadership positions, I do believe there are capable Black people who can do almost any job. The problem is that we sometimes like to just put any Black face or any Black person anywhere for representation rather than results. And this is how we get things. And again, this is hypothetical. I'm just saying, how do we know this isn't happening? Because I think it would be unfair to lay it all at her feet, especially when she's only been there less than a year. But again, this comes with the territory, and she does have to take some of the flack.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's responsible for managing this, such as it is. But it's unreasonable to suggest that she's responsible for anything other than now, rather than the things that led up to now. Like that, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Real quickly, before you continue, Ariana Hudson says, having a conversation with my 11-year-old about why I've chosen private school for her eye-opening. She wanted to know why I wouldn't want to save some money. Wow. You know? Also, Graham Smith says the cabinet would have to have signed off on these changes, so the responsibility lies with the whole cabinet, not just the minister. Here's the thing with that. And I'm going to just use what Thaao said. If the responsibility lies with the whole cabinet, not just the minister, then it also lies with all of us.
Well, yeah. Like there is no, and we got to stop doing this, like looking for singular scapegoats to pile all the accountability on. It's such a waste of energy and time, right? Like if you are connected with young people in our country, you know that they are not interacting with education at the consistent level of reliable success as we would like. We know that, right? I just don't understand how you could possibly put that entirely on the people you send them to school to learn from, as opposed to the context they're coming out of in the first place, right? Like if your kids are never consistently read to, if they're given phones and tablets from the age of, as soon as they pop out into the world, and then you wonder why they can't sit still and focus on these sorts of topics when they get to school, like I'm sorry. It's just so frustrating.
Real quickly, Ms. Horton has a question. She said, "Are you suggesting that innovation unit was the way to go?" How? I can't say how. Heck no, no. I was not suggesting that. I was. I think she's thinking that when I was saying that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't track her thinking.
Yeah, I am by no means saying that, Madam Horton. Of course not. I'm not saying that. But the point I was making is that sometimes we focus on the money spent and the fact that it was a foreign entity. And at the end of the day, for me, I just want the problem fixed. So it's about finding the right group of people. If there's a Bermudian, so be it. I'm just tired of seeing money spent without results. I was speaking to someone yesterday about public service and civil service, and it's like, I'm asking, so how do we measure that? And like I said, it's like, I'm used to having jobs where things are measured. And to know that people go to work every day and they're not measured, Thaao, like that is just so strange to me. Like how do you, I just don't get, and some of you listening might be saying, well, how do I measure my job? Easily. Like I'll use a school teacher because I don't criticize cops, school teachers. I think they have some of the hardest jobs. And I know we got to get to the news and stuff, folks. I know. But if I'm running a school, the easiest way to measure is how are the students in the class improving, not how they're doing, right? Because if a student was getting all A's, right, and then they come to my class and they're still doing well, but they're getting B's now, they've gone backward. So it's not just about how great they're doing at the time, it's how are they improving. So you should be able to take B students and make them A students. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. No, I understand what you're saying.
That's measurement. Now, in the civil service, I need to know, and maybe someone from the public service can educate me. How are things measured? How are things measured?
They are measured, but just like I guess following it on from your school teacher example, like the measurements take place, but the thing is, like, what are you measuring?
Correct. What are you measuring? Like what,
that's what it comes down to, like picking the right thing to evaluate and analyze.
Right. That's what I'm asking. Anyway, you always say it more eloquently and sound right. But let's get to the news, because I got to talk to you about education.
Yes, and it's a very good thing. So, and we got some interesting news today. So we all know that Bermudians like to get on planes more often than almost any other community on the planet, right? That's not debatable. But it seems like there is at least one thing or one person who might just have turned us off from catching a flight in a way that is unexpected. New travel data suggests Bermuda sent fewer visitors to the U.S. last year than in many years prior, and the timing is raising some uncomfortable questions. Now, according to data from the American State Department, travel from Bermuda to the U.S. dropped by about 4.5% year over year, with the sharpest drop coming in January gone, when arrivals fell by about 20% compared with the same month the year before. This is not U.S. people coming here. It's us going there. Now, this is weird because Bermuda to U.S. travel is usually rock solid. So seeing a drop like that big, 20%, 1 in 5 not going, especially earlier in the year, is weird. Now, if you recall, there was a big consequential internationally relevant event that happened in January of 25. What do you think that was?
Trump was inaugurated.
There you go. Donald Trump came back to the White House. Now, during his previous term, tougher immigration rhetoric, increased scrutiny of borders, and a less welcoming tone overall coincided with weaker inbound tourism. And it's not just us. Canada and parts of the EU also saw softer U.S.-bound travel over the same period, suggesting a broader perception issue rather than a local one. So, yeah, maybe that's the thing that will keep Bermudians from getting on a plane, the presence of Donald Trump in the White House.
Well, here's the crazy thing, man. Las Vegas, I mean, they've been suffering, and people know Vegas is huge. Like the tourism mecca, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between Orlando and Vegas, that's where the big groups go to. So we're going to this conference in April that we go to every year, and the prices are so low, audience. Like, comparatively speaking, this is actually probably one of the best times to travel on a budget, because
take advantage.
What happens when you tell people they're not welcome? They're going to respond. Okay, well, I guess I won't come.
No, Canadians. I just read a report last night. Their travel to Vegas in particular is 5 million people fewer than the year before. About a quarter less folks are going across the border to Vegas from Canada, and that's cut about $500 million from.
How about China? Because Chinese flock to Vegas like crazy, and it's like, when I think of that, I'm just like, man, that's a hit, and I feel for people in the industry in Vegas. I mean, it's tough. If you understand tourism, ooh, yeah, Vegas prices are back to what they used to be before they got all fancy. Put it that way.
I'm with you. Now, in other news connected with our discussion this morning, the Bermuda Union of Teachers have responded and firmly to the Ministry of Education's update on national education reform, saying that the ministry has confused, upset, and frustrated the broader community. According to a BUT release, the ministry's recent communications are, quote, deeply troubling, not just substantively, also in terms of process. The BUT says that school leaders were called to meet with less than a day's notice where they received the plan, described as having been co-signed by principals, despite only a handful of public school principals having been consulted in the first place. Also, schools weren't provided with any guidance or clear documentation to communicate with families and students about the ministry's announcements, which left them unable to answer the obvious questions effectively. BUT President Jonathan Tankard shared, quote, teachers and principals were placed in impossible positions and parents were left anxious because information was shared without honesty or proper process.
Well, that's a pressure group for you, Tay. I mean, too, I mentioned pressure groups before you came on, right? I spoke about how they're necessary. The BUT could have an impact like what the BIU had. That was a very stern statement, right? I appreciate President Tankard in sharing that. Where do the pressure groups come from to fix this thing?
Well, where they have come from traditionally, that is to say, from regular people that have a point of view and think that it's worth not just sharing it with the broader community, but being listened to by the broader community, making the argument affirmatively. It will come from regular working people, just like every other instance in our history. Like, it's got to be grassroots in order for it to do anything.
You know what, Teo? I've never been one, and even when you and I were in our early mid-20s working in this space, I don't think we ever dismissed people because of their age. We dismissed them because they were probably crazy, we thought, but not for their age.
Well,
I mean, it's one person, but we're not going to go there. One person. We're not going to do that. But we're going to be respectful this morning to you. The boss is listening. Glenn's probably listening, saying, don't you dare. But anyway, I say that because for me, we had the opportunity as far as education to have a mix of people with experience, right? Like maybe I'm going to call names. Maybe Miss Ellen Kate Horton mixed in with Dr. Lee Matthews, and then bringing some younger people along. We've got Dr. Gina Tucker, whether you like or not. Like and then you could have been in the classroom. To me, I think that we had enough people with knowledge and experience, not saying to get it right, but to be in a better position than we are. And I think maybe I just need to stay in my lane because I don't know a thing about this.
Well, I mean, that's a responsible impulse. You know what I'm saying? To recognize when you don't have the expertise to offer anything terribly useful. But public education is one of those things that everybody has got to advocate for improvement, just by definition, right? Even if things were much better, we should all be just as focused on improvement, because if we get this right, we get the future right. Okay. But so I say that to say, that humility you demonstrated is essential, but please don't stop yourself from talking about this as often as you can, not just on the show, but throughout your general life. Like there's nothing more important than getting this right.
Indeed.
Now, in other news, congratulations and well done to 4 Bermuda Police Service officers for earning advanced anti-money laundering qualifications in the UK. The training was delivered by the City of London Police Service and provided rigorous instruction on contemporary money laundering typologies, investigative techniques, financial intelligence, and international best practice. This all syncs up with the Financial Action Task Force Immediate Outcome 7, which focuses on ensuring that money laundering offenses and activities are effectively investigated and that offenders are prosecuted and appropriately sanctioned. BPS release explained this ongoing investment in internationally recognized training and partnerships underlines the service's commitment to safeguarding the financial system and upholding the rule of law. Now, it turns out that there's a distinct money laundering technique that if you're you and I, Jay and I's age, you should remember. It's named after a throwback cartoon show with a bunch of blue characters that did not like shirts and had a real gender imbalance in their community. Huh? What'd you say? Smurfs, exactly. Turns out criminals like to smurf. They're smurfing things up all the time. I didn't know what that meant, but I figured I'd get something to explain what it means when a criminal starts to smurf their money clean.
Everything else out as winnings. Or finally, there's smurfing, though you won't need anything blue to get your green. With this one, you hire a bunch of associates called Smurfs to individually deposit small chunks of the large haul you're trying to cleanse in different accounts in different places. Beware, U.S. banks are required to report any transaction over $10,000, so you might need to find a lot of Smurfs.
So that wouldn't work in Bermuda, I don't think. Like we're not a Smurf friendly jurisdiction because there's only like 3 banks. You know?
Yeah, they got some terms out here. My goodness, Smurfs. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a question. How are they going to do it with like the crypto and all the chains and all that, like money laundering? Like, is there a money laundering thing? Like, that's what I was wondering when you were doing that news report just now.
That is a marvelous question. I don't think anybody has really figured that out because to be completely transparent and for the crypto enthusiasts, forgive me. I know that I'm not wrong about this, but don't get too angry. One of the primary use cases for cryptocurrency has been specifically to launder money. Like that's where the bulk of the activity is taking place because it's incredible. It's designed to make it as difficult as possible for somebody who doesn't want their assets to be traced to them to remain anonymous. Like that's part of the point of this system. And drug cartels like the world over, this is how they move their money around now. Because like why would you do it any other way? So yeah, it's one of the clear downsides of crypto. Like it's really hard to trace this stuff.
Interesting.
Now, as far as the weather is concerned, we're going to start up with some more rain that should be out of here by the time we get to lunch. These conditions are the result of an old frontal boundary out to our west, bringing the small burst of rain our way for this morning, but drier weather should show up in the afternoon and largely remain stable as we enter the weekend, with a gentle breeze expected to roll through at least Sunday. It'll be a bit chillier today than compared with yesterday, but strong emphasis on a bit rather than chillier. So, it's not going to be too cold, but keep your jacket anyway. So, that's your TDH News Break brought to you by our friends at Peoples. I am Thaao Dill.
Hey, Tay, here in Atlanta, it's going to be like an ice storm this weekend. They said, one of the news reports said, when you go to bed on Friday night, expect to be there for a few days. I'm like, well,
that's an aggressive projection.
I'll forward it to you. I was like, well, that's not nice.
Excuse you.
Like telling me basically you're locked up for a couple of days. I ain't done nothing but Mother Nature just doing what Mother Nature does. But days of the year, real quickly, we got to take a break, then we'll come back with the conversation. But days of the year, it's National Pie Day, Tay. So I want to ask you in the audience, what's your favorite kind of pie?
Okay.
You don't look like a muscle.
No. Oh, no. Are you talking like pies universally or savory? Okay.
Desserts, we're talking in Bermuda terms. We're talking about hot pies. Come on, cassava.
Nah, cassava pie is always the Lord and savior of all other pies.
Okay.
Like it's the best pie in the history of piedom.
Okay.
Equally, I love me a Cinco. I don't even know the last time you probably had one from.
Like, tell your audience a beef pie. Tell them what the Cinco is.
Cinco from DeGraff's Lunch Wagon. She's about this big.
Mhm.
I'm not exaggerating.
Mhm.
And it will put you to sleep. You know what? Like they could remember that with the warning you just got about the ice storm in Atlanta. Like, oh, you're gonna be locked down for a couple of days. They could put a sticker like that on the side of a sinker. You eat this, you're gonna be asleep for about 8 hours. Like
So
it's satisfying in a different kind of way.
I haven't had the grass beef pie since I ate beef back in the 90s.
Oh, right. I
I
forgot.
ain't have one since then, and I'm gonna tell you, it was the most delicious thing. I mean, Taylor's not lying. But you don't have a favorite dessert pie, Tay?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you call it a pie, but that's how I've always thought about it. I don't know if anybody else is going to know what this is, because I grew up having it described as Mark's favorite dessert, because it was made by one of the families in the church that I went to, and it's like Cool Whip on top, some chocolate pudding, some graham crackers, another layer of pudding, and like crushed up graham crackers on the bottom. It's some kind of good, man. Now, if anybody is a Worldwide Church of God veteran, and they know the non idiosyncratic name for this dessert, the name other than Mark's favorite dessert, please let us know, because it's so good. Oh, it's delicious.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm with the audience. Traveling Trotty says apple pie. Shonette Bell says apple farine and pumpkin. We've got apple crumble pie. Hadley and Stevenson Swan. We've got everybody's with you with the DeGraff pies. Taylor, Shonette Bell, and James Burgess. Of course, Charles comes with a sinker with mayo and ketchup is delicious. You can hold the mayo.
That
Charles.
mayo out of everybody. No.
Yeah, you can hold the mayo.
Don't spoil it.
Suzanne Ingham says pies, any, and cassava pie. Pumpkin is my specialty. I'm gonna be honest with you, folks. I'm a big guy. I'm a super heavyweight when it comes to pies. I'm gonna eat them. I'm gonna eat them. No, just put it to you like this: any pie I probably won't eat that I've been offered to eat. Is it pecan pie?
A pecan pie? Why not?
You see what it looks like?
Yeah.
I won't eat it. It doesn't look friendly.
What you mean?
You don't look at food and be like, "Oh, I won't eat that." You don't look at food like that, Taylor?
I do, but but friendly ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, that pie's making me nervous. I think it might bite me.
No, I don't like the way pecan pie look, but let's go through a few more. Rosalind Famous says, in this order: cassava pie with chicken, beef pie, Stevens beef pie is the best, and then apple pie. All right. We've got Charles has his cassava pie as his absolute favorite. Well, I hope he doesn't put mayo on that. We've got Phil Trott says blueberry pie, chicken, beef, mussel, apple. Okay. Phil loves pies, Hunty. We know what to get him for his birthday. Lamb pie from Yardy, says Anika Shields. You had a lamb pie, Tay?
Talk about it. Lamb is the king of the meats. Did a nice pie for sweet crust. You can't go wrong. Well done, girl. I'll go do your shop, you are.
Julia's got my back. She says, I agree, Jamel. Not the look, but pecans are nasty. Okay. How you pronounce it? Pecans or pecans?
I don't think it really matters. I say pecan.
Okay. It's like the Bermuda verse being English. One real quick one before we go to break. Traveling Trotty said codfish pie is delicious. My aunt makes this codfish pie. And you all know I don't eat codfish and potatoes. But her codfish pie, we got to take a break. Don't worry about Taylor's face, folks. We'll be right back. And we're going to be talking about financial literacy course that adult education's offering. Folks, this is awesome. They got some big hitters. And I'm looking forward to hopefully if it's online, but we'll find that out after the break, because I can always use the assistance as well. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and stick with us for this most important community conversation. We'll be back in a bit. Pie eaters.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Jamal Hartman here, Thaao Dill. It's the Daily Hour, brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and a big love to Hot 107.5. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Also, tomorrow, don't forget, it's your chance to audition to win a trophy and $5,000. There'll be over $10,000 awarded in additional prizes to various contestants who make the finals. What am I talking about? Auditions this Saturday at Hot 107.5 for Bermuda Idol 2026, taking place between 1 and 3 p.m. Bring your best voice and song choice. 2026 could be your year. So why not audition this Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. during the open auditions at Hot 107.5 HQ? Folks, you must be Bermudian or married to a Bermudian. All right?
Good vibes. Very good vibes.
I couldn't qualify because, I'm not Bermudian, apparently. And, they removed me from the thing.
I don't think that's the reason you couldn't qualify.
Okay, I hope not. But I'm not married to a Bermudian, so, they're fine, you know what I'm saying? But, hopefully. Taylor's basically trying to say I can't sing, audience. You want to hear a little note?
No. Actually, you know what? No. There may be some people right now that are in need of a Heimlich maneuver because they got some breakfast lodged in their throat, but there's nobody around. And if they get the shock that they will experience from your singing, you could save some lives. So go along. Do some Frankie Beverly and Mays.
Nope, you ain't pay for it. You got to pay for this place. All right, okay, let's jump into it. Yeah, here in another capacity, adult education, director of programming. You got something exciting coming up, which I'm very excited to see. We had Ariana Hudson on last week talking about a seed fund and how she hopes that will be tied to financial literacy if it's something the government moves forward with. But speak to us about this new financial literacy course, like what's it all about, understanding money from the ground up. What inspired the need for a program like this for adults right now?
And that's the best possible question that you could ask. And I love you. Like you see it, right? So, at the adult education school, our work is trying to help folks, adults that are trying to improve their lives through education to achieve that goal. And that doesn't just mean earning their GED or being able to get to the college. It means genuinely, comprehensively providing them with the support and resources needed to have the kind of life that they're looking for, right? To honor and pursue their dreams. So with that, we're always thinking about different opportunities to present to our community of learners. Mm-hmm. And financial literacy was one that we've been thinking about for some time. And with the wonderful support of Patrice Miners, who helped to build this thing from the ground up, we were able to put it together. But here's the thing. When Ms. Miners came back with her response to the task that we gave her, which is to say, design a financial literacy course, but not one that just is a budgeting thing. I mean, comprehensive, like top to bottom, what money is conceptually, to how the national budget is managed, to what taxes are, to how investments work, like the whole shebang. She came back, and this thing was so good. Like, genuinely, we figured we can't just keep this for our learners. Like, we got to expand this thing out to the broader community. And in the process of doing so, we connected with the wonderful folks at HSBC, and they saw the vision as well, and they supported us. And the consequence of all of that is that the last Wednesday of every month, starting next Wednesday, January 28th, for the next 6 months, we're going to have this financial literacy series going. And it's available to the entire community. You can register via PTIX. If you go on to PTIX, you know how it works with like the different events you scroll down through. You'll find ours. You'll see our logo. You'll see the name, and you just sign up. It's completely free. You don't have to go in your pocket at all. But you have to go through the process of like purchasing a ticket. But the price
only in person or online as well.
Well, our goal is to get it streaming. But we are a charity. We've only got so many resources, and if we're going to stream it, we want to make sure that it looks and sounds right. You know what I'm saying? So if we're able to do it, we will let you know. But at the moment, it's just going to be in person.
What core concepts will participants actually learn from this?
Honestly, like if I just say like 3, that's not enough. Like it genuinely is the entire life cycle and use case for money, and the best ways for us to maximize the return on our investment of our time and resources, like budgeting, saving plans for at all ages, like what a dollar is conceptually, like how currency works, how the national budget is put together and applied, and how to think it through from like the original decisions that are made as far as pursuing national priorities, and then how to decide what goes where, and then how you evaluate I'm telling you, like there are in these 6 sessions, you will walk away genuinely understanding what money is and how to maximize its utility for yourself and your family on a whole different level. Like I'm so excited about this.
Audience, I want to just ask anyone, have you ever done a financial literacy course? Because I know it's been like almost a trendy phrase or catchy thing to say over the last probably 5 or 6 years, financial literacy. But how many people have actually done something? So I'm interested in the audience. Have you ever done a financial literacy course? And the reason, Thaao, because many adults feel intimidated or embarrassed talking about finances. How does this course help build confidence and remove some of that fear around money?
Well, I think just like with anything else, right? Like I'm so embarrassed now. I can't remember what you're scared of.
Me?
Yeah. Like you're terrified of something. I can't remember what it.
I can't remember at the time either.
Oh, okay. I feel like you're keeping this to yourself on purpose.
No, there were quite a few things. Cruise ships, being on cruises. Yeah.
Okay. Now that's a perfect example. Used to be terrified of cruise ships to the point where, he couldn't even walk down Front Street without bursting into tears. I remember them days. It was rough for Jay. But at a certain point, he decided to move past this fear and actually put himself on a cruise ship, put himself on another cruise ship, put himself on another, get more familiar, right? Experience the thing. Exposure therapy is what I'm talking about, right? So the more you know about something, the more you understand about a thing, the harder it is to have these irrational fears and discomfort with, because like now I know I can budget. I may not make as much as I like, but if I set up these systems in my life generally with my family, then I can stop being scared of using my money in a way that is more responsible. Because you're absolutely right. Like so many folks, working people, right, that are doing their best to earn what they can to keep their families looked after, they are more like fearful and embarrassed about having a meaningful conversation about their finances than they are scared of the consequences of not having that knowledge. and they keep struggling just because of that insecurity, because of that fear. And I promise this event is designed with the same overall philosophy of empathy-led learning that our school operates on. So it's going to be a safe place, right, for you to come and share and learn and grow together with us.
So I've heard some things, though. I heard that you'll be bringing in a range of guest experts over the next 6 months. So what kind of perspectives and specialties will they cover? And why was it so important to include multiple voices? And are you going to reveal who some of them are?
Well, yes. So we're starting it off next Wednesday with Craig Simmons, obviously the senior economics lecturer at Bermuda College and one of the local thought leaders, right? Like if we want to understand something about how money and economics impact our day-to-day lives, he's the guy to talk to. So he will be kicking off the entire series next Wednesday. And then following that, we've got this is so cool, right? Like we needed there to be a section about the national budget, about how the government spends, gathers, and thinks about money. So we were able to get former finance minister and Premier Paula Cox to come and deliver that in person. And I like that's the tier, right, that we've got of folks with their expertise. Now, the reason that we have such a diverse and broad range of folks sharing is because we want expertise, right? And there's, you know the saying, like, let the specialist specialize, right? Like for each one of the different sessions, we have somebody that is a specialist in that space with unique expertise and knowledge to communicate in a way that, you know, typically we don't get exposure to. So yeah, like it's a really, really solid list of guests. I don't want to give away too many, but those I think should set the frame for what's happening.
How do you see this course, Tay, helping people make better everyday financial decisions, like whether that's budgeting, saving, debt management, or planning for the future?
I have a perfect object example of how this not only could work, but I think will, based on experience. So we did, again, as part of our engagement with our community of learners, an investment, like a saving for retirement workshop with a local expert, Angela Joel. Ms. Joel came and talked to a room full of between 16 and 20-year-olds about 50 years from now, right? Like not worrying about what you got and are dealing with in this moment, but to make sure that you're straight at the end of your working life and beyond, where you can have the kind of life that you have earned, that you deserve. After her session, 2 of those young people had meetings with her to set up their first ever investment plan. And they've been, managing that ever since. That's the goal, right? And we've proven that we've been able to do it. So yeah, that's what people can get out of this if they're open to really participating, listening, learning, and acting on the information. But we're going to set the table for them to sit down and eat. Absolutely.
Audience, I asked you, and I know something happened with Facebook. Facebook's been down for about 10 minutes, so that's okay. But just wanted to know, again, audience, let us know if you've ever taken a financial literacy course. Let us know. We've got a question from Rosalind Famous asking, will there be a session on real estate investment?
There is a session on investment in particular, and real estate. I would be shocked if that wasn't a subdivision of that overall session. So yes, and speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that. So in the lead up to this, I started to do a little reading and learning about basically what economic life is like in Bermuda for regular people, and I found some statistics that were genuinely surprising to me. Tell me tell me how this hits you. Bermuda's rate of home ownership as of the last census, which was in 2000, so it's as recent and relevant data we can get. About 53% of us own their own homes. Guess how many U.S. residents own their own homes?
12%.
66. 66%.
That makes sense.
But does it surprise you that you're more likely to have a piece of property in the U.S. than you are in Bermuda? Like, because that really, it rattled me a little bit because I know that owning a piece of the rock, as they say, is sort of baked into our cultural expectations. So to know that only like every other one of us is able to pull that off is it says something about our relationship with financial resources. I think I don't know exactly what it says, but it says something, and I don't know that it says something good.
I think, Tay, that in the U.S., I'm shocked the numbers that high because the amount of apartment complexes. Like, I mean, rent. Real estate's such an investment for so many people here to make money off of renters. But then it makes sense because a lot of people spend money, get their first home. Like, for instance, they just got a little condo that's a what's it called, a studio
fixer upper. Like yeah, I got you.
And so I get it because real estate was pushed like that. Then you got to remember there's so many different markets in the U.S. in terms of homes can be as low as 100,000 in some places, and the average home being 1 million in some places. So I think it doesn't shock me that it's more than Bermuda. Even though we sell it, we understand the market in Bermuda is very tough, and there's not many options.
Yeah. And the bar for entry is so relatively high. There's another statistic that was shocking to me, and frightening, genuinely. I'm sure you've heard, again, in the U.S., politicians or aspiring politicians mention this a lot, that only 2/3 of people have $400 available to them in case of an emergency. If say somebody hurts themselves or they get in a car accident or there's a sudden like legal expense, it can completely blow up a person's life. Like, that's it. Like, if it goes over the cost of $400. In Bermuda, it's not 2/3, but it's like every other person doesn't have a spare $400. And that's terrifying.
Just
right?
that explains the importance of financial literacy. That example right there explains it. But for folks who are tuned in right now, Thaao, I think you should know this already. Like, what would you say to encourage them to take part and invest in their financial education?
In the same way, you should invest. You know how we're talking at the beginning of this morning about the necessity of the entire community leaning into the support of public education, like making things better, because it's the kind of thing you don't even have to explain, right? Like, we just know our kids are our most valuable resource. Ensuring that they get what they need to grow in the way that they're supposed to, it's just a non-negotiable necessity. But as far as your material lived reality is concerned, like substantively, what it's like when you get up, move around the world, go back to sleep, and just repeat that cycle, more than almost anything else, how you deal with money, like for real, is a thing that dictates the shape of your life. Like what your kids eat, for God's sake, right? Like whether or not they get fruit regularly comes down to like how you manage the money that is used to feed them. Man. Like when you think about it in those terms, getting it right with your money is just essential. And we really, really hope that as many folks as possible and as are interested join us on the last Wednesday of every month for our financial literacy course over the next 6 months. First one is starting on next Wednesday, January 28th at 6 p.m. at Vision Bermuda. It is right across from Leopard's Club on Beacon Street there. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it'll be there. And again, we just want everybody to come. And I guarantee you this, it will be a valuable use of your time. We're not trying to waste your time. We're trying to make sure you leave that space enriched every single time you occupy this course with us.
Tay, thank you so much for that. Look, the options available. One last question, kind of did discuss this, but Rosalind Pham is asking, only in person or virtual?
At the moment, it's just in person. And it's again, like if we're going to put it online, we want to make sure that it looks and sounds right so that all participants, if you're in the room or outside the room, are able to get the full experience. So at this moment, it is just in person. But if we can swing it, you will know, and we'll do it.
Thank you so much, Tay.
Last thing, I'm sorry, ptix.bm. That's where you can register for it. Now, if you don't register, it's okay. You can just show up. Like we the reason that we are encouraging people to register on PTIX is because we want to have a decent sense of numbers so that we can plan and resource the space appropriately. But if you're not the kind of person that is comfortable going online and clicking through and it's cool. Just show up at Vision Bermuda next Wednesday at 6 p.m. and it will gratefully welcome you.
All righty, Tay. You have a wonderful weekend, good sir.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
All righty. Thaao Dill, folks, go sign up. Check it out. Honestly, if you've never done a financial, even if you have, there's economists change, opportunities change. So check it out. Go to PTIX and register, sign up. I wish it was online because I definitely value some of the people who will be guest speakers in that. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and we've got a daily play for you. It's the things you should know. And I don't think you all are going to get this one because I wouldn't have.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Every space has a message, whether it's a store, a government office, or a doctor's waiting room. With Store Tunes Radio, transform your environment with customized music and professional messaging that keeps people informed, engaged, and at ease. Easy to use, built for organizations of every kind. Powered by Bermuda Communications Group. Store Tunes Radio, the soundtrack to better customer experiences. Visit storetunesradio.com to learn more. Alrighty, welcome back. Thank you all for rocking with us. I've gotten quite a few people saying, Alan Kate Horton and Suzanne saying that their internet went down. No, your internet didn't. It's not your internet. Facebook went down during this program. So that's why we actually stream on multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, but also our website. Our website's the easiest place to go. So just go to thedailyhour.com if you ever get challenges. All right. So we got Charles did ask, is there a cost? No, it's free. Thaao said it's free to attend. All right, folks. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075, ensuring that we can, hit the airwaves and communicate directly with people through radio. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, are you ready? It is a things you should know. And I don't know if you guys know this, you're just stellar. Well, I know you're stellar, but extra stellar. Yeah, you're going to be stellar if you get this. What was the first animated film to be nominated for a Best Picture Academy Award? Remember, I said nominated. I didn't see win. So no, it wasn't Lion King. Rosalind and Jewel and Tanya, it wasn't Lion King. But Shawnette Bell, yes, it was Beauty and the Beast. I would not have known that at all. So I would have probably guessed Lion King as well. All right, folks, we got to wrap it up and let you go and enjoy your weekend. I think I'll be stuck inside due to an ice storm. James Burgess says, Jamal or Jamal. I'm Jamal, but he said, Jamal, how do I get my name to you? I have your name. What would you like? You can hit me directly. I usually respond to inboxes, but I'm easy to reach. All right, let's give you something. Let's see. I've got the quote book open. I like this. This is from Gandhi. And I know we have our issues, but doesn't mean the quote doesn't make sense. It says, the future depends on what you do. Yeah, we had a discussion this morning about education. Everything that happens with public education period, with our children, our future depends on it. And our future will be a reflection of what happens today. I'm not an expert at this, but I am a Bermudian. Someone who loves and cares about the community. I don't think this is about pointing fingers or blaming people. This is about brainstorming and coming up with solutions to problems that we face. And if we can all collectively first recognize that, one, we have a problem, and two, we actually care to solve it, then we can start marching toward resolutions. It's not working. We've got to fix it. And when I say we, I mean every last one of us. As far as the conversation with Thaao about financial literacy, money is it's a scary thing. I mean, I don't like to spend it. I don't like to spend it. But unfortunately, we have to, right? We have to eat. We have to pay for, shelter. But as you mature, you learn to understand that for necessities, we need money. For material things and fun, we can actually save money instead of spending all willy-nilly. Folks, I appreciate you, and I'm grateful to you. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and big love to Hot 1075 for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you on Monday. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great weekend. We are Izelle. Peace.